Hello, Raleigh. This is Whitney Hill, Whitney for Raleigh. I want to talk about the recent ACC championship with the North Carolina Wolfpack as an alumni of North Carolina State and as a citizen of Raleigh, and talk about what this potentially means for Raleigh. Going back to 1974, State won a national championship back then, David Thompson era, Norm Sloan coach. That was a really big thing. Basketball is big in North Carolina. People in here, it's a basketball state before it's a football state. And North Carolinians like their basketball. After that, State had strong teams up to a certain point. And when Coach K came into Duke, that program really took off. And State really sort of began to fade. And in 1983, when Jim Valvano was coaching, and everyone knows the Cardiac Pack. I mean, every year that's a legend that still gets played when we go into the NCAA tournament. Coach Valvano took what was really a pretty regular bunch of guys, and I think he's probably, and I say this with all the all the respect, he convinced a bunch of pretty regular guys that they were a team of destiny, and those guys rose to the occasion and did something really special for NC State and for the Raleigh area too, and went out and won a national championship. And there's so much to be learned from this, that when a group of men come together with belief and pool their talents, a group of ordinary men can do some really great things. And that's what these guys did. They went into the last game and played the championship game against Houston. And I just remember that team was just hailed as these guys were one of the greatest ever to play the game. This was a professional team. And NC State, really special that they were able to get up here. But unfortunately, they just really don't stand a chance. It's too bad that maybe a better team could have come up and been able to go up against Houston. We could have had a good game. Well, it ended up being a good game. And of course, anyone who knows this history knows that last minute shot that was an air ball that the hand came up from nowhere, and they ended up winning that game. And it just, no one's ever forgotten that's going to be a legend that's going to probably continue through the years to some extent. But since then, State won one more ACC championship. Jim Valvano became sort of a legend there with all that, and the legacy he left. After that, the State program has limped and struggled. It really struggled after '83, with the exception of that ACC victory, and I think it was '89. I might be wrong in the year there, but the NC State program has limped and limped and limped, and that might be fine for a lot of universities, but NC State loves its basketball. They love its football too, and really, the universities, the people in the university are deserving of a competitive basketball team. So, in any case, here we are today, and Coach Keats, I think, was sort of on the rails here as far as probably potentially not having his contract renewed. And the regular season was mediocre from State, with a really bad ending of a number of losses there at the end of the season, and no one was really expecting a whole lot of these guys, definitely not to even get near the finals of the ACC tournament. And they did something that was just historically unprecedented, winning 5 straight games. And securing the ACC tournament title and getting themselves into the NCAA. And if it stops here and they lose their first game, it's always going to be a special season. I hope that they're going to be able to carry on this belief that they have. These guys looked to me to be, some talented players that were really struggling to pull it together and win consistently. And something happened that they really sort of consolidated here in this tournament and learned how to utilize each other's talents and maximize them. And it's an interesting group of players. I just don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like this in basketball as much as I've watched it, where you've got a group of guys that really just learned how to work together and maximize their talents to get a really great result is what happened. And at the same time, maybe find that extra 5 or 10% in their own personal talents to be able to play to their full potential. And they might not even be there yet. Maybe they really find that in this tournament. What does this mean for Raleigh? Well, what I think sports teams add to the self-image of a community. And when a sports team in a community, whether it's the Canes when they won the Stanley Cup, or NC State with its past basketball titles, whether it's NC State winning a big game against Carolina or winning a bowl game, these things are good things for communities. I mean, if you look at the communities that never get these things, I'm not going to mention any names, they tend to be communities that are struggling. And Raleigh right now needs a boost. And you don't want to have to rely on sports teams to do this, but it is a reality. And for NC State to pull this off, I think was a big boost for Raleigh. And who knows, maybe we're in for even a bigger boost. We're going to keep our fingers crossed. I think there is something special about this team, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. They've found something special, and we're all going to be rooting for them here. As alumni from State, I'm especially going to be rooting for them, and as a Raleigh citizen too. So we'll see what happens. I wish the best for the other ACC teams too that have qualified to get into the big dance. And I just wanted to give some of my perspectives on this. I think it's really good. And I'd like to hear your comments on it and any of nostalgic things that you might have to say about this if you've been around the area for a while, NC State alumni or whatever. This is Whitney for Raleigh, Whitney Hill signing off. I appreciate you listening to this video. And if you like it, please give the thumbs up on it. And also to hit the subscribe button, and you can see more of my videos. Thanks for listening.